Some of the most fascinating discoveries in astronomy happen when we find things where they just shouldn't be. And today, we're diving into a cosmic mystery about a planet so strange, it pretty much challenges everything we thought we knew about how worlds are even formed.
So let me just ask you this. What if the strangest planet ever found was orbiting a dead star? And I'm not talking about a nice, cozy, sun-like star. Oh no, we're talking about the super dense, violently radioactive corpse of a star that went supernova a long, long time ago. And circling that dead star, scientists found something that it defies all explanation. And get this, the object we're talking about, PSR J2322+2650b, whips around its dead star in just 7.75 hours. That's not its day, that's its entire year. That ridiculously tight orbit puts it in one of the most extreme, hostile environments you can possibly imagine. Okay, so to really wrap our heads around just how bizarre this planet is, we first have to understand the stage for this cosmic dance. Because this is a place of unbelievable stellar violence and somehow improbable survival. The star at the heart of all this is a pulsar. So try to picture this. You take the leftover core of a gigantic star, crush it down to the size of a city, but it's still heavier than our own sun. Then you spin it hundreds of times a second. It blasts out these intense beams of radiation that sweep through space, kind of like a cosmic lighthouse. Yeah, not exactly a friendly neighborhood for a planet.
In fact, this setup has a name. It's called a Black Widow system, and it's named that for a pretty grim reason. The pulsar is literally destroying its smaller companion. It's blasting it with gamma rays, stripping away its atmosphere. This poor planet is in a constant, desperate battle for its own existence. This graph right here shows just how much of a freak this object really is. The vertical axis is how long it takes to orbit, and the horizontal one is its mass. All those other dots, those are your typical Black Widow companions, tiny and incredibly dense. But then look way over there at our planet, marked by the star. Its mass and density are way more like Jupiter. It's a complete and total outlier. It just doesn't fit. So, when you're faced with a cosmic oddball like this, what do? Well, you point the most powerful space telescope ever built right at it. You call in the James Webb Space Telescope. Now, the expectation was actually pretty straightforward. The theory goes that these Black Widow companions are just what's left of a star that's been torn apart by the pulsar. So scientists thought JWST would look and see the chemical signature of a stellar core. A mix of helium, carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen. Simple enough, right? Well, that's not what they found, not even close. What the telescope actually saw when it peered into this violent system was something completely, utterly unexpected. What it found was an atmosphere so alien, it has totally upended our understanding of what's possible in these systems. Okay, so this is the data JWST sent back. The best way to think about it is like a chemical barcode. By analyzing the light coming from the planet, the telescope can tell you exactly what molecules are in its atmosphere. And this particular barcode, well, it was unlike anything anyone had ever seen from an exoplanet. This was the smoking gun. The atmosphere was just packed with molecular carbon, things like C2 and C3, stuff we've literally never detected in an exoplanet's atmosphere before. But just as shocking was what wasn't there. Oxygen and nitrogen were basically gone. The carbon-to-oxygen ratio was over 100 to 1. The carbon-to-nitrogen ratio was over 10,000. So the key thing to realize here is this isn't just a world rich in carbon, it's a world made almost exclusively of carbon. And look, this isn't just a fun little curiosity. As the researchers who discovered it put it themselves, this finding poses a severe challenge to our current theories. The models we have, the stories we tell about how planets form, they simply cannot produce a world like this one. But the strangeness didn't stop with the chemistry. Oh no. JWST also gave us a peek at the planet's weather, and it revealed something equally bizarre: winds that appear to be blowing the wrong way. So this graph shows the planet's light changing as it goes around the pulsar. You see that peak brightness? That's its hottest point. But notice it happens just a little bit after midday, when it's facing the star most directly. That little shift tells us the hottest spot isn't where it should be. It's been shoved aside by powerful winds whipping heat across the surface.
Now, on most big gas giants that orbit this close to their stars, we call them hot Jupiters, the winds blow eastward, moving with the planet's spin. But on this world, with its insane 7.75-hour rotation, the winds blow westward against the direction of its spin, totally backwards. And here is the really amazing part. This bizarre backwards weather system, it actually confirms a theory. Atmospheric models have predicted for years that if you spin a planet fast enough, its normal jet streams should just break down and be replaced by these westward-blowing winds. This impossible planet is the first real-world proof that this extreme weather can actually happen. So, what does this all add up to? Well, far from solving a puzzle, the discovery of PSR J2322+2650b has just thrown open the doors to a brand new cosmic mystery. Because we're left with this one fundamental, burning question. How in the universe does a planet like this even form in the first place? A world orbiting a dead star with an atmosphere of pure carbon and winds that blow backwards. Where does that come from? And believe me, our best theories fall completely flat. Okay, what if it's the stripped core of an old star? Nope, the chemistry is all wrong. It should have way more oxygen. What about a super rare merger of two white dwarfs? Well, that's incredibly unlikely to begin with, and the chemical ratios still don't quite line up. Even if it formed from the guts of a special carbon star, that doesn't work either, because even they can't produce the extreme level of carbon we see here. So we are left with this one undeniable, mind-bending fact: an impossible planet exists. And it proves that our understanding of the cosmos is far from complete. It forces us right back to the drawing board and leaves us with one absolutely thrilling question. If this world is out there, against all odds, what other impossible things are still hiding in the dark?